My friend had gone in as he didn't feel so good, so here I am with his sister and her friends just handing out in their backyard. The girls' ages ranged from 13 to 15. They were all nice lookers and playing hide and seek. In the garden were some building materials, as work was going on in the house, and these were covered by a heavy-duty plastic sheet. I noticed that, as the girls, when they were found, went and stood or sat on the builder's sheet. There was 8 girls playing, and I thought that if I could join the game, that I could have some fun under that sheet. They said I could join in, and so when they all hid, I got under the plastic and pulled it under my body so they wouldn't notice that it had been disturbed. I heard Leslie shout, "Here I come, ready or not," and just laid on my back and waited. It didn't take long before she was finding the girls, and my first trample made me wonder if I was doing the right thing. Angie stood right on my face. The pain was so intense, I could feel her heel twisting on my eye. It was streaming with tears, but I didn't give the game away, and as another girl got found, they decided to sit on what they thought was just building materials. Through the thick plastic, I could see one of them come down on my head, so I turned my head to the side. I didn't want to suffocate under the sheet, and all of a sudden she was there. She had just dropped her full weight onto my head. Her friend I could feel sitting on my chest. The pain was so great, I thought that I had died and gone to heaven. After a few minutes, I felt a footrest on my erect penis. I could only hear their muffled voices as they were chatting, and then as I was about to come in my pants, I felt the full weight of the third girl stand right on my erection. I could feel the heat from the blood pressed hard against my stomach, and was wonderful. As she stood right on him, I come as she moved around to let me ejaculate. Soon, they were all found and were either standing or sitting on or around me, and I loved every minute of it. After a while, they gave up trying to find me, and thinking that I had gone home, they carried on with the game. I just laid there and was constantly crushed and trampled. I was bruised and messy, but still I didn't give the game away. It must have been about an hour or so later, and they were by this time just enjoying girly talk, whilst I was enjoying all of them moving around on me, standing and sitting when something changed that put my heart in my mouth. Angie's mum come out into the garden and called her in for her tea. All the other girls went home at this stage, and when it was all quiet, I rolled over and was about to get up when I realized that Angie's mum was still in the garden. I laid back down and kept still. Lucky, she hasn't seen me. When she goes in, I'll make my move then. It would be so embarrassing if she were to catch me. She started talking to one of the neighbors and walked towards me so they could be closer. Through the plastic, I could make out that she'd got boots on with about 3 inches heels. My hands were just in front of my head, and her feet were just in front of them. I was thinking it would be nice for her to step on me, what with all her adult weight, around 140 pounds, but I was afraid that I couldn't take the pain. I just kept looking at her feet as she moved around, but she hadn't stepped on me yet. My heart was racing, and I decided that a chance like this may never turn up again. I was just about to sneak my hand tight to her boots when the decision was made for me. She stepped to the side and right onto my left hand. Her weight was on the heel, and that in turn was on my thumb. Her sole was on my fingers, and the pressure was so great that I could feel my hand going cold. She walked all over my hand as she rocked and swayed, and soon I'd managed to get both her feet onto both my hands. My fingers were being crushed by these lovely boots, and all of her magic adult weight was all on me. She even managed to kick me a couple of times as she moved about, but never knew I was there. The best was when my little fingertips were under her heels. The pain was intense, and I come in my pants yet again. She was crushing me for about 10 minutes or so, and I have dreamed of that day ever since. I am now 44. As she went to go indoors, she had one last surprise for me. She turned and stood on my head, and I felt her walk down my back. She really hurt as she stepped onto my legs, but it was worth it all the same. Just as a footnote, I wear glasses, and when my friend's dad left his mom some time later, my friend went to visit him for a week. I had got a new pair of glasses, and so one evening, I went and hid my spare pair under their back doormat. It was on uneven ground, and so the fact they were there would and did go unnoticed. So for a whole week, Angie, her sisters Christine and Jenny, and their mom crushed them to a mangled mess.